It is the final game of 3 here in the Astrodome. The Reds obviously need a victory in light of what's occurred the last couple of nights to get out of here without being swept as they go with the right-hander, Ronnie Robinson, making his first start in almost 2 years against the Express right-hander, Nolan Ryan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marty Brennaman, along with Joe Nuxhall and along with Johnny Bench. Johnny, the pitching, and I know they say that certain pitchers can throw certain hitters into a slump. I don't know the Reds can see any better pitching than they've seen the last couple of nights.
Not really, and they're only 4 for 31 aggregate total against Nolan Ryan this year.
That's a little rough, isn't it?
That's a little rough, and you don't want to face the Express right now. He's on a roll. He has not allowed an earned run in the last 14 innings, and I tell you, you hate to come in the Dome anytime facing Scott, and Deshays pitched well last night, but Nolan Ryan back-to-back. There's a lot of offers. You hope you go out of here with a couple of hits, 4 hits if possible. That would be too much to ask for, but what you got to hope for now is just 1 win.
Well, the Reds know what they can expect out of Nolan Ryan to try and come up with a victory and stay in first place in the West. Ronnie Robinson. It's been almost 2 years since he has started a game for Cincinnati, and he's on the line tonight.
Well, I think that Pete would like to get 6 strong innings out of Robbie. I think that would be about as much as you can ask out of him and go to the bullpen. But working against the Express, I don't know. That's wow, you tune it up a notch. You know, you take that dial and you roll it over one. Because it's even quicker than last night. Deshays was throwing 87. Now we're going to run it up to about 95, 96.
Well, a win tonight would certainly make it a much easier trip to Atlanta, Georgia, where the Reds head after the ball game. Final of 3 coming up in Houston. Back with the lineups and the play-by-play in just a moment. Producer-director for Cincinnati Reds baseball is Roy Alpers. Associate producer, Jesse Jackson. Network coordinator, Dick Mort. Cincinnati Reds baseball is a special presentation of Multimedia Sports. Well, the Houston Astrodome a couple of months ago, a very comfortable place for Pete Rose's club to play in light of the fact that they came in and bumped them off 3 in a row. This trip in, however, has been radically different. 2 ball games, 2 straight losses, and now the Reds confronted with having to win tonight to stay in possession of first place all by themselves. The Astros, as you can see, are on the field. Johnny Bench is ready with the Reds batting order.
Leading off for the Cincinnati Reds will be Cal Daniels playing left field. Kurt Stillwell bats second. He'll play shortstop. Tracy Jones back in center field again tonight, bats third. Dave Parker bats fourth in right field. Buddy Bell does the third base job, batting fifth. Bo Diaz is the catcher, batting sixth. Terry Francona gets a call at first base tonight. He'll bat seventh. Ronnie Oster back at second base, bats eighth. And Ron Robinson, with his first start of the year, bats ninth. And defensively for the Houston Astros, Terry Poole, Billy Hatcher, and Kevin Bass in the outfield. Chuck Jackson, the rookie, starts at third base tonight, walling out with a bad back. Craig Reynolds at short, Billy Doran, Glenn Davis. Ron Reynolds does the catching again tonight, and the Express, Nolan Ryan on the hill. And there you see 4-5 record. He's won his last 2 and pitched well. And last couple of outings, he has gone 7 innings, 7 on June the 7th, and June the 12th, he went 7 2/3. Allowing 5 hits in each game, 1 unearned run. That was against L.A. He struck out 12 in the one game, 11 in the other one. So in 14 2/3, he's K'd 23. I'd say he's ready.
I would say he is, and that does not bode well for Cincinnati. All they can hope for is that Ryan has a bad night tonight. Cal Daniels waiting to lead things off for the Cincinnati Reds as the Express delivers in the first pitch, a breaking ball for a strike, and this game is underway. Daniels, .316 average. You see the home runs, the RBI totals. Led off last night's game against a left-hander Deshays with a double to right. Cal's had 3 hits in this series. To be played by Davis. And the big first baseman takes it all by himself. Cal gone as Ryan retires him on only a couple of pitches. This copyrighted telecast comes to you through the courtesy of Multimedia Broadcasting, authorized under television rights granted by the Cincinnati Reds solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds is prohibited. That's Kurt Stillwell. Back at shortstop again, batting .278. Ryan bringing it, and the pitch is taken, ball 1. Now, Pete Rose made the comment, Johnny, on our radio pregame show earlier tonight that he personally feels that Ryan has become even a better pitcher in the last couple of years simply because of perfecting the breaking ball and now giving the hitters one more pitch to think about, and that's a changeup.
Much tighter rotation on the curveball. He's not trying to use the big snapper. He's using it effectively. And that changeup, people say he may be scuffing it. I don't think so. It's just a good change, and boy, it's been effective.
2 balls and 1 strike on Stillwell. 40 years old. The all-time Major League strikeout leader. He goes into tonight's start with 107 on the year. That ranks second in the league behind teammate Mike Scott. And a career total of 4,384. And that pretty much sums up Nolan Ryan. Very apt description of this man. The 2-1. And the foul off the end of the bat evens it up on Kurt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There was the changeup, Marty, and it didn't go down. Sometimes it goes down. That ball tailed away. And Nolan Ryan, if a lot of people saw the Pete and Johnny show on network, on the multimedia network, and they saw Johnny Vandermeer back-to-back no-hitters. This man right here came closest to anybody. He gave up a single in the 8th inning for Mark Belanger after his first, I don't think it was his first no-hitter.
Reynolds retires Stillwell. Well, the first inning tonight not going like the first inning the last couple of nights when the Reds threatened on Monday night. 2 on, 1 out, could not score. Had 2 on with nobody out in last night's game, and the first against Jim Deshaies, and got what turned out to be their only run, only because Deshaies balked it in with 2 men out.
Nobody struck out.
No, that's true. Might be a indication that things will take a turn for the better. Tracy Jones. And you noted in the lineup that the Reds are, for the 3rd straight game down here, without the services of Eric Davis. In fact, Pete had 2 separate lineups. One with Davis in, the other with Davis out, and the latter is a 1. 0-2.
I was interested in how Ryan might approach Tracy Jones. There you see Eric right there. We're getting the sunflower seeds with Lloyd McClellan on his left. Now giving some to Barry Larkin. But you were wondering how he might approach it because Tracy really had a super hack. I mean, just a real hard one. Went all the way across the plate. And Nolan looked kind of funny at him.
Came with that high fastball, a pitch that the Reds have been repeatedly chasing throughout this entire series. The plate umpire, Terry Tata. Around the bases, Jerry Crawford, Bob Davidson, and Harry Wendelstedt at first, second, and third. 2 out, 1 and 2. Ryan to Jones. Headed out toward Terry Poole in left field. And Ryan and company head toward the dugout as the Reds go out in order. Ground outs by Daniels and Stillwell. The inning-ending fly ball to left by Jones. And after a half, the Reds 0 and the Astros are coming to bat.
The Houston Astros leading off. Billy Hatcher got a couple of hits last night, as did Billy Doran, batting second. Craig Reynolds moves up to third. He'll play shortstop. Glenn Davis with a huge home run last night bats fourth. He plays first base. Kevin Bass is in right field tonight, batting fifth. Terry Poole plays left field and bats sixth. Ron Reynolds is the catcher again, and 3rd time in this series. Chuck Jackson moves over to third base for the ailing Denny Walling. He bats 8th. And the all-time strikeout king Nolan Ryan pitches tonight and bats 9th. Defensively, the Reds, Daniels, Jones, and Parker in the outfield. Buddy Bell, Kurt Stillwell, Ronnie Oster, Terry Francona, Bo Diaz behind the plate, and Ron Robinson, with his first start after 100 appearances in their bullpen, does the pitching. And there you see the record, 1 and 2, the 3.49 ERA.
And he's facing center fielder Billy Hatcher here in the Houston first inning. And he's greeted by a first pitch base hit into center field. Hatcher has all the necessary ingredients and talents to be a good leadoff hitter, which he has been all year long for the Astros. And aggressiveness, yes. And he jumped on that first pitch, and he's on with a leadoff base hit.
Well, you wonder how Ron approaches the starting role. And after being in the bullpen, he immediately comes in. And he started a lot of innings coming out of the bullpen. And you wonder if he's trying to pace himself, because Pete has said he would like to throw about 85 pitches in the game. So he may try to pace himself rather than just go out there and give it all from the start.
Billy Hatcher settles in, and a base hit to left field. Hatcher stops at second as Cal Daniels wings it back to the infield. 2 pitches, 2 base hits. And here come the Astros right out of the chute.
Well, just fastballs and first pitch hitting. The crowd here tonight, and it's a nice crowd on hand. Of course, the Astros only a half a game out of first place, and they're anxious to get back in the first place. They liked where they were last year. They liked where they finished up. They'd like to have another shot at the Mets.
right now. Ronnie Robinson with his work cut out for him. Two guys who can run on the bases, and Hatcher at second and Dorn at first, and Craig Reynolds elevated to the third spot in the batting order tonight due to the unavailability of Denny Walling, and he'll bunt third base side. Robinson cleanly with it, and the sacrifice very successful. 1-4 as Walling confers with a lead runner Hatcher at third base. Billy Dorn moving up to second, and here's a guy that hit one a third piece last night. Home run number 11 of the year. Glenn Davis steps in.
Let's put him on.
I don't think that'd be bad strategy at all, but apparently they're going to start out pitching to him despite the fact first base is open. Gets that pitch in there for a call strike. The last time Robinson started a game was on October the 5th, 1985. He started out at Dodger Stadium and lost that game 3-1. His last victory as a starter, September the 27th in '85, ironically against the Astros in Houston, winning 4-3. 1 ball, 1 strike. Of course, starting is nothing new to Robinson. He started 12 games that season, and prior to working out of the bullpen and also in the rotation in 1985, he was a starter throughout his pro career. And he's a man the Reds elevated out of the bullpen into the rotation when Jerry Royce was given his release a few days ago. Swing and a miss. And
let's pitch to him.
Yeah, that's the advantage that we all have. You can change your mind. Looked like Davis jumped on a bad pitch that time.
Well, you know, he's got to be a little anxious. The RBI's out there in a position for him, and he has been hot of late. 20 RBIs in the last 23 games.
Keeps him alive with that bouncing ball foul over top of the Reds dugout.
There you go. I brought that glove just for that. Now, see there, I told you why. She kept saying, why did you bring the glove?
That's right. The young lady on the left not saying a whole lot because she's probably the one who said you don't need to bring that thing to the ballpark.
See the little kid there, too? He's saying, hit one here. Well, this is the location.
Foul ball. The cheers and then the groans here in the Dome. They were thinking 2-run double. Glenn Davis was thinking along the same lines, but Harry Wendelstedt with the best seat in the house and did not hesitate a little bit in saying foul ball.
A lot of chalk dust down there, Marty, and Harry Wendelstedt right there on it, and I tell you, it is foul, and it's not by much, but you see the ball hit just about where he placed his foot, and I would say that's a pretty good demonstrative call.
Well, a man who's made a lot of such calls throughout a long career as an umpire here in the National League. So Robinson gets a break of sorts. Second and third, they lead with 1 man out, and that's not going to get it done. Ronnie Oster calling off Terry Francona, and Robinson needs 1 more out.
Good pitching right there. He really worked the outside corner, and of course the experience from coming in the bullpen in tight situations, he knows what he has to do, and Pete believed in him right there by going with him. And now what does he want to do in this situation? Does he face Kevin Bass, or does he go against the 200 hitting Terry Poole?
Well, Bass, of course, a switch hitter. 276 average, and as Johnny said, the on-deck batter Poole hitting only 200. For the left-handed batter in his own right. A single to start it by Billy Hatcher to center. A base hit to left by Dorn. The sacrifice by Reynolds. The pop-up by Davis, and that's exactly what they're in the process of doing now with Kevin Bass, putting him on with the intentional walk.
Kevin has hit well in the last 9 games, hitting .344, and they get some of the stats as we do up here, so they know that he is the reason that they won last year, one of the big reasons they won, and very cautiously putting him on to go with Poole, who has seen limited action. Most of his has been in the pinch hitting role, which he is 7 for 23. He started in the outfield in 10 games, so take a chance with a guy who's not playing every day, and it's up to the decision of who plays. There you see Hallinier, and he has put Poole in place of Cruz. A little managing going on already, and there you see Pete Rose saying, all right, let's get out of this inning.
So the bases are loaded as a result of the intentional walk to Kevin Bass, and now Terry Poole, who in the last 24 hours has become the focal point of trade rumors with the Houston Astros. Trying to do some first inning damage. Ball 1. The rumor has it that Poole is going to be dealt off to the Philadelphia Phillies in return for catcher Darren Dalton, a position for Houston that has been, well, in the eyes of Hal Lanier at least, and apparently now in general manager Dick Wagner, has been an ongoing problem for this ball club. 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike, and I think the rumors possibly answer the question, why has Philadelphia scout Ray Shore been spending the last few days down here in Houston? The Astros certainly are not going to be playing the Phillies for a while, and that may simply be the reason that he's down here to look at Poole, to try and carry a decision back to Bill Giles of the Philadelphia Phillies as to whether or not the trade would be a fruitful one for the Phillies.
There you see the outfield alignment. Tracy Jones on the right field side, and Poole likes to go the other way quite a bit.
Throwing, and Ron Robinson pitching himself out of big-time first-inning trouble. No runs, 2 hits. They leave 3 on base, and we move to the second inning. The Reds and the Astros, 0-0. Having 289, 16 home runs, and 48 RBIs. Breaking ball he starts him off with and misses with it. Ball 1.
Amazing thing about Nolan Ryan is his lack of walks in the last few games. In the last 16 innings, he's only walked 1 hitter, and I think probably what Pete was talking about how he's a better pitcher is that he's now not trying to strike everybody out. Still working for him.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now he's walked only 28 for the season in 80 2/3 innings of pitching, and that is a far cry from the Nolan Ryan in his youthful years in Major League Baseball, first with the New York Mets, and of course after that with the California Angels. They will limit Ryan to 110 pitches per game. And the story started some time ago that was a limit imposed by the general manager of the Astros, Dick Wagner, and we understand that is entirely not the case at all. Parker taking 2 balls, 2 strikes. They said the doctor and the trainer of the Astros recommended to Dick that 110 would be a good number for Ryan, and Dick went along with it, although they say at times Hal Lanier has his number of 115, and they have allowed Ryan to throw as many pitches as that, but rarely. Normally after 110 he'll come out of there. Even at 2-2 on Dave Parker, and there's a pitching coach in the foreground, Les Moss, Hal Lanier in the background. Former Major League catcher. Moss spent some years with the Detroit Tigers. That ball's hit well to right field. Racing over toward the line is Bass, and a foul ball and out of here.
I don't think it was glove night tonight, but it sure is coming handy. I'll tell you what, no matter what happens the rest of his life, he'll be able to talk about that.
His most unforgettable moment.
And look at his son. Come on now, let him touch it.
Now there's the biggest hero in the whole ballpark right there. That young man's dad.
I tell you, you live for this in a ballpark. You bring your glove, you think you're sitting in no place, and there it is.
And the 2-2 pitch again.
Let's try to get those 110 pitches out of the way in a hurry.
Yeah. Be all right.
Yeah.
No argument from us.
Well, they certainly haven't used the bullpen much. You see Buddy Bell on deck. Dave Smith, really the only one that's been working in the last 4 days for the Astros.
Well, Ryan throwing strikes, and Parker upping that pitch count with foul balls.
You know what I've really noticed different about Ryan in the last game that we saw him pitch here, and also tonight? He's not doing as much walking around the mound. Maybe it's because his arm is healthy, but he's pitching a lot faster. A lot of times he'd throw a ball and then walk all the way to the front of the mound and then circle around it. Now you see him doing it this way, and it's just because of the changeup probably that he threw, and he approaches it straight up and steps on the slab there and gets ready. But in past performances that we've seen him, it really takes him forever to get ready. And I think it's because he's trying to throw so hard. Now he's under control.
Two balls, two strikes. Saw Buddy Bell a moment ago. He'll bat next, and then we'll take a look at Bo Diaz. No score, top of the second. Ryan, a long look into 30-year-old Ron Reynolds. And Dave does it again.
You know, you foul off those pitches and foul off those pitches, and Dave's had some pretty good pitches to hit. That's the great thing, and that's why you have great pitchers, is that they can throw those pitches in locations like that and still get away with them. And Dave, now, if he gets tricked by a changeup or something, that's what he hit off the end of the bat, will really be mad at himself for letting the good one get away.
One more time, Ryan to Parker. Well, Ron Reynolds thought maybe Dave might have offered at the pitch, but apparently not. Concerned with the ball getting through, that Parker possibly would have been struck out, but have still reached base. But as it goes, it's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Johnny, the Houston outfield seems to play Parker more straightaway than a lot of the other outfields we've seen around the National League. Now, Terry Poole pulled well off the line and left, but most of the defenses, when Parker bats, you'll see the outfield swing around toward right and the infield do the same. More conventional defensive alignment for Houston.
Ryan's speed basically will do that. The curveball and the changeup, they figure Dave will pull. The real good fastball that he gets away, they know that Dave will go the other way with that pitch. You hit defensively against Ryan.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Reds have certainly seen, over a period of 3 nights, power pitchers.
Well, you know, you talk about power, and I was amazed last night. I was standing down by the cage, and Dennis Menke and Hal Lanier were talking about the fact that Deshays, the pitch that Daniels hit to lead off the game, was 79 miles an hour, and I was really surprised. He did get up around 86 or 87, but that's just mediocre, really. Normal speed. 88 is a good speed, but the players were swinging late on the pitches.
Well, they're hoping to have a shot at that. Chuck Jackson falls down, and it proves to be academic. Well, a young man really not used to all that much playing time, and especially here in the Dome. And
now see if he'll smile.
Oh yeah.
You know, welcome to the mound. A lot of the major league parks have their mounds on the side, like the Reds, of course, in Riverfront and here. And those mounds are not really. They're not. You know, you don't camouflage them. They're out there. They're brown. But when you get an attitude of just starting after something, you forget where the footing is, and you don't practice that in batting practice. I'm going to run over and see where the mound is.
If you're wondering, Nolan Ryan has now thrown Dave Parker a total of 12 pitches. 13 pitches, repeated foul balls, and a holding 3-2 count. So he's using a bunch of pitches here against Parker, win or lose. And he wins. Number 1 of the night. 4,385 of them.
Well, these K's tonight, there you see this one in right center field. He's going to pull that up. That's in the way of the hitting, but there's also some out in the left field that they keep where they put Cruz right on the sign, and these are in red. There have been 9 of them up there last night, 17 on Monday night.
10 of them up there last night, because Dave Smith had 1.
That's right, he did in the game.
27 strikeouts for Houston pitchers, make it 28 now that Parker has fanned in 2+ games. Buddy Bell in front of ball. The rookie Chuck Jackson, no problem, 2 out. Right now we'll pause 5 seconds for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds television network.
You're watching the Indiana sports station.
We back.
WGTV Channel 4.
2 down, nobody on base. Scoreless we are in the 2nd inning. I'm Marty Brennaman along with Johnny Bench, and settling in now, catcher Bo Diaz. Davis, Reynolds start over, no play. Johnny, how about them Padres?
Hey, how about him, huh? Well, yeah, they came from behind today to defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-7.
5 in a row.
And Larry Bowa is asking for an extension already. There you see some of the other scores. The Cubs this afternoon beat the Phillies 5-3. Montreal leading 9-0. And Mike Fitzgerald has hit a grand slam home run in that game. And, well, Sid Fernandez, 8-2, started that game, and he did not last very long. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. San Francisco was defeated by Atlanta 6-1. Mike Lacasse pitched into the 6th inning and had not given up a run. He was not the pitcher of decision, however. A lot of afternoon games, Marty, in the American League in particular. 3 finals already, with Detroit defeating Toronto 3-2. Milwaukee beat Minnesota 8-5. Seattle shut out. That was Scott Bankhead.
Right.
Bill beat Bill Long 2-0 in the White Sox.
Ooh. Sharp breaking ball. 2-1 on Diaz.
Boston leading Cleveland 1-0 there in the bottom of the 5th at Cleveland. New York leading 2-1 as they bat at home in the bottom of the 5th over Baltimore, and Kansas City and Oakland are scoreless after 1.5.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, one of the toughest jobs right now in this park that anyone has is Ron Reynolds. He's had to come up and catch Mike Scott, Jim Deshaies, and now Nolan Ryan, and that's not always the easiest thing to do when you haven't seen them.
And has done a good job. So for the 2nd time in the inning, Ryan has gone full. He went 3-2 on Parker, then the strikeout. Now 3-2 on Bo Diaz. And he walked him with 2 out. The second will continue for Cincinnati as first baseman Terry Francona steps in. Yeah, the new president of the San Diego Padres, Chubb Feeney, longtime president, former president of the National League, and before that, the top man with the San Francisco Giants, said, no, we're going to wait a while as far as Larry Bowa is concerned. He said, I've always been a believer in 1-year contracts, and he said, I'm certainly not going to give him a contract extension until I've had some time to watch him manage.
And I'm not going to fire him either.
No, that's right. So that doesn't mean that we're going to waltz him out the door tomorrow. Larry Bowa couldn't have picked a better time for a new president to come in the way that club's playing.
And you talk about contracts today. Dave Collins was signed to a contract to the Nashville Ball Club, and Bill Berge said they're going to give him a look, see how he looks, and who knows after that.
The 0-1 pitch. Doran to Reynolds. And in the second for Cincinnati, as Francona bounces into a force play. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And after 1 1/2 innings of baseball, 0-0.
Top of the 3rd. Well, it's not either. It's the bottom of the 2nd. Where are we? We're in the Astrodome. It's 0-0 here, and you need relief from the summer heat? Well, we've got a special date set up to help you make your way through the long days of summer. It's a Hudipole Shingling Relief Pitcher Night on Friday, July the 3rd, when the Mets come to town for the start of a big weekend series. Now, the first 15,000 fans, 19 and over, will receive a 2.5-quart pitcher, complete with 4 glasses. So remember, Relief Pitcher Night, Friday, July the 3rd, Reds versus the Mets, thanks to Cincinnati's Brewery. And I think we got to give one to everybody in the bullpen.
I'll be there.
You'll be back?
I'll be back. No, we'll be back.
We'll be there. Well, I'll be in Seattle, Washington.
Tell all the folks up there I said hi. Ron Reynolds leading off the bottom of the 2nd. 4th straight start for this young man who was just brought to the Astros on Sunday and got there in time for their final game in Los Angeles and went behind the plate. Had a couple of hits in that game, picked up an RBI in this series so far. Matter of fact, he's driven in 2 runs. No balls and 2 strikes. Make that 1-1. And 1 for 7 since coming to the big league ball club.
Well, you saw him starting off the game. The first 2 hitters hit the first pitch, and maybe he was trying to conserve pitches. Now you see him working towards the corners a little more.
Johnny, a question for you. Given the fact you've got 2 pitchers tonight, Robinson, who they will limit to, I guess, 85 pitches, Ryan, who they will limit to 110, pitchers working under restraints such as this, are they aware from inning to inning how many pitches they have thrown?
They got it in the back of their mind as he strikes out Ron Reynolds. Sure, they have it in their mind. They're thinking, if I can just throw, let's see, 10, 12 pitches an inning, I can get to 6 innings of 72 if I throw 12. If I can get there. But the thing is, you want to get past the 5th inning so you can possibly get a win. The thing you know you can't do is pitch 9 innings. So you got to pitch really tough early and then get through the middle innings.
So the question I'm asking is, do they keep a tally when they go in off the field, go on the dugout after completing an inning? Are they made aware of, well, you've thrown 48 pitches through 3 innings?
I would say not. No, he'll just keep the counter, and then around the 5th inning, if he's around 60 something or 70 like that, he'll say, well, you've got 70 pitches at this point.
Chuck Jackson trying to take Robbie the other way, and he's behind a couple of strikes.
So he won't do it until really he's about 12 or 15 away. And he's saying, you know, you got this inning, and he'll go out and pitch it. If he gets an easy inning, then they might say, well, you can go another inning if you feel good. And this is Chuck Jackson. This is a young kid facing him, really a fine player down at Tucson last year, and they're really high on him. They think he's a better center fielder than anybody they got. And that may include Ty Gainey, and I heard such glowing reports on him last night. They're trying to shop people around last night, as the Terry Pools and the Phil Garners and the Davey Lopes, so that they can bring these kids up. And then there's a kid down in Double-A, and his first name is Ken, and it starts with a K, that Dennis Menke was telling me about. They say he is really something, a third baseman with an absolute gun.
Breaking ball down. Well, the one thing they're concerned about right now is Jackson's ability to hit major league pitching. They are obviously a bit concerned about that, but from a defensive standpoint, he's made 2 sensational catches already in center field, and they say he's very, very comfortable at third. Tracy Jones has got to go away. Some more at the wall. Long belt by Chuck Jackson, and a long out it is.
Hanging curveball. He got all of it. I'll tell you what, he looked like he knew what he was doing at the plate. There wasn't any doubt about that. And fortunately for Ronnie Robinson, he hit it to the biggest part of the ballpark.
How about Tracy Jones? I don't think he took a look at that fence one time. If it happened to have to run through it, so be it. I mean,
just don't get in my way.
No, absolutely not. And the wall, that's included. That brings up Nolan Ryan with 2 out. Good pitch on the outside for a strike.
You see 0-43. The only hit he's got all year. 3-run homer off of Charlie Palaio down in Atlanta.
Ball a strike. Second major league home run. Talked earlier this year when we were down here TVing that game that Ryan pitched. His first home run came in his first ever game with Houston, and it came off Dodger right-hander Don Sutton right here. Two down, nobody on, no score in the bottom of the second. Pitcher against pitcher. Ron Robinson with a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Nolan Ryan. 2-2. Bobby tries to put him away with this one, and Ryan gets a piece of it. Of course, a win tonight would project Houston into first place in the National League West by a half a game over Cincinnati. They have not been in first place since the 14th of April, when they sat atop the West by a half a game over the Reds. Breaking that base hit, number 2 of the year for the Express. Hit it right off the end of the bat.
Well, Bo Diaz unable to hold on to the foul tip, and a real good pitch right there. You could hear the bat crack up here, and just a little cut serve over first base, and Ryan continues the inning.
Billy Hatcher back 1 for 1. Hit the first pitch thrown to him for a hard grounder up the middle. And as far as that is concerned, Hatcher 3 for 3. He has led off all 3 games for Houston with base hits in this series. And he's had 5 hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. Astros will have the Dodgers coming into town for a series beginning tomorrow night. And boy, that LA ball club struggling again. They lost today, as we mentioned, by 1 to San Diego. They are now 6 under 500 at 29 and 35.
You think Mr. Lasorda is happy at this point?
Well, you know, as far as his proclivity for eating is concerned, he says he eats when he's ecstatic about the way they win, and he eats to fight depression. So he might eat a ton tonight.
To go in and lose 3 to the Pods?
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ryan over at first. And the third hit of the game off Ronnie Robinson. And Robbie just missing with some of his breaking balls.
Well, he's called that breaking ball down all night, so he's being consistent. I'll say that for Terry. And last night we saw consistency in Harry Wendelstedt on the pitches inside on the corners.
Ryan will be taking off. What with 2 outs? He went. Robinson gets a strikeout, his second of the inning. A decision that Billy Hatcher does not agree with. The numbers for Houston in round number 2. No runs. The hit by Ryan, who's left aboard after 2 complete. Cincinnati, Houston, no score. Ron Oster leading off the top half of the third. Nolan Ryan walked over close to third base to have a conversation about what we have no idea with third base umpire and crew chief Harry Wendelstedt. You see Ryan now making his way back toward the mound.
I think the only thing it could be is you look down at Hal Lanier, who's bouncing around in the dugout. Maybe Ryan went out to ask him if he called the check swing. But I don't know why. Terry probably would have told him quicker.
Oster takes ball 1. Ron batting .222, 16 RBIs, a home run. Fair ball. And a base hit for Oster. Bass hustling in to make the pickup, so Ron stays right there on a rocket that hit the first base bag. That would have been interesting.
That might have been 3.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he hit it hard and really got a bad luck bounce there by hitting the bag. Hit this ball really solid. Went down and in, and he turns on it, and he's seeing double right now, and it catches the bag. And I tell you, the way Ronnie's been going, I thought for a second the ball stayed up in the air long enough that it was right at Glenn Davis.
Well, maybe that'll be the thing that'll start turning Ron Oster's season around. So now the Reds need the good bunt from Ron Robinson. Here comes Chuck Jackson. This is something that Robbie's really not had occasion to do a whole lot of.
He has 1 though.
Yeah?
He's only batted 3 times. That's not bad. And I don't think he's bunted against Nolan Ryan though.
No, I don't think so. The young kid at third, Chuck Jackson, he was breathing right down Robinson's neck as he fouled that ball off. Here he comes again, and Robbie bunts first base side. Good one, because Oster was moving on the pitch. And there's a tag by Glenn Davis. 1 unassisted on the sacrifice bunt, and a base hit now would give the Reds the early lead here.
Something we'd like to have right now to keep this race in perspective. I'd like to go down to Atlanta, and Atlanta has given us all kinds of problems. We'll be there in Atlanta tomorrow, Friday, and we'll also have the game Sunday. So the game will be televised, I believe, on NBC. Joe Morgan will be down there to help broadcast that game.
As well as the round mound of sound, Jay Randolph, St. Louis Jay, and Joe Morgan.
And Oakland Jay.
That's right. Cal Daniels 0 for 1, a ground out to Davis to lead off the ball game. Oster at second, 1 out. And the Reds with their first opportunity of the night to dent the plate.
He'll hit this one hard.
1 ball, 1
change
strike.
up. There it is, and that's what we talked about, the difference in Nolan Ryan. And Cal muttering to himself as well.
You don't want to throw that changeup up there repeatedly, though, do you?
No, but the thing is, it's such a surprise because you're so used to seeing that fastball up in your eyes, and you're geared for 95. You get that ball upstairs like that, and you have a tendency to jump. And Ron Reynolds is taking a little too long to give signs.
1-1 Ryan against Daniels. And he comes back with a breaking ball to fall behind on the count 2-1. Well, Mike Scott leading the National League in ERA at 2.17, followed by, until today that is, Sid Fernandez, Pittsburgh's Rick Russell, then Nolan Ryan at 2.68. Danny Darwin also among the top 10. They've called a balk on Ryan.
Been our best offense in the last couple of games.
Yes, it has.
Ryan not complaining here, and neither is the dugout down there. And he's going to, no, see, he started up before he stepped off, and you can't do that. Today, Murphy hit his 20th home run to tie Dawson and Davis for the lead. We'll see him down in Atlanta. So 2 of the league leaders in home runs.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Murphy's been on a real tear. Eric, of course, has had a terrible month of June. Dawson has been playing every day. It's just been a while since he's hit a home run.
And here's a left fielder, and you combine the left fielder's stats, you get 20 home runs and 50 RBIs for Jones and Daniels as the infield plays in.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So early in the game, and we're only in the 3rd inning, Nolan Ryan faced with trying to come up with a difficult second out. What with Ron Oster filling it up over at third base, and as Johnny mentioned, the Houston infield pulled in. And Daniels certainly hit it hard enough. That ball is off the wall. It will score Oster. Cal digging for second, an RBI double. And now, nope, he's in there.
Well, I think on the replay, they're going to have a good argument. Bob Davidson on the other side of the bag, Marty, and he said, yeah, you are. Billy Doran, a Cincinnati native, telling him he was that far off, and he could not see him. And now Hal is really going to get a piece of him. And Hal will not be in here. I'll tell you right now. He called the balk last night, and he's not happy with that, and he's going to get his say-so.
It might be the only thing he says the rest of the night, however, if he continues to argue as vehemently as he is at the moment with Bob Davidson. That's the volatile side of Hal Lanier that we touched on last night. He can get into an umpire's face right now. And it continues. And Hal's getting riled up again. Wonder what he said then.
Cal decided not to slide. Boy, he cranked this one. I tell you, to go the other way, he has shown good power all year long. There you see it off of the wall. Poole played it perfectly, and Cal kind of cruising into second base. You see Oster. Now watch this. Watch him come off. I know he's going to come off.
Hard to tell. Might have had the very tip of his shoe still on the
Let's
bag.
just see it one more time, Marty.
Down.
He's staying with him. He's staying with him. He's staying with. Get that toe back there out of the way.
I don't know that Bob Davidson had such a good vantage point to make that call, because he was still circling around in front of the bag when he gave the safe sign.
Well, he certainly couldn't get in front of the bag because he expected Daniels to slide, as did we did up here. And that's a tough way to go in. There you see Bob Davidson. Tough way to go in standing up.
Cal Daniels, RBI number 31. The Reds in front 1-0. Still only 1 away in the inning, and still well behind now. A couple of strikes after he bounced out to shortstop Craig Reynolds in the first inning. There's Daniels. He has simply shown outstanding opposite field power all year long. One ball, 2 strikes. Kurt, who did such a splendid job in that 1-month period when Barry Larkin was down and on the disabled list, only to go back to the bench when Larkin was deemed healthy enough to come back. But Barry had been struggling so badly at the plate that Kurt now is going into the lineup for a stretch of games. Inning open when Oster hit a shot that caromed off the first base bag and into right field for a base hit. Robinson did his job with a sacrifice bunt. Ryan helped the cause by balking Oster to third, and the double off the wall and left by Daniels has the Reds on the board. And Cal guilty of some bad base running. Not good base running at all right there.
You see a breaking ball chopped right over there. This ball has to get over the mound before he can make his move, and he got stranded out there. What happened was he took such a big jump, it was almost like he thought about stealing. Now, we did not see that, but from our vantage point, he had thought about stealing the base, and he had got himself extended out there. Then when the chopper, he got himself in no man's land, and with a lean, the good play by Ryan.
Now Tracy Jones. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Well, Daniels crushes one to put his club up by one, and then commits a major faux pas on the bases and has knocked off Nolan Ryan to Craig Reynolds. Stillwell on with a fielder's choice with 2 away. No balls, 2 strikes.
A good time here to think about stealing, although you don't like to do it 0-2. But the thing is, if you get Tracy back up there and with an 0-2 count, you'd like to see maybe an attempt, because Ryan is a little slow to the plate, and they have not checked Reynolds. Well, they do have it. See, he starts off the bag like he really wanted to make a big jump, and that's when Ryan came off the ball, and the ball topped off the ground here. Sometimes it is firm in front of the plate, sometimes goes a little higher, but it was just misjudgment.
Ball, 2 strikes. Tracy had a leadoff infield single to start this series on Monday night and has not had a hit since then.
Got the golden sombrero that same night.
He and Ron Oster both.
Better explain that.
The golden sombrero is a hat trick +1, or in its plainest terms, 4 strikeouts. The golden sombrero. There goes Stillwell. And a base hit into right field by Tracy Jones. Stillwell looked like he thought he might have missed a bag, or was instantaneously unaware of where the ball was, but he came on to third. He stopped as he rounded second base and looked like he was looking back toward the bag, but then came on to third. So the Reds have him at first and third for Dave Parker.
Jammed him a little bit. He goes the other way, and Kurt had not at that point looked to see where the pitch was. Now he has to look over to Billy tomorrow and find out what his ruling would be, and Billy ruled that he should come on to third, and it was just an easy trot for him. So a chance for Parker, who really battled Ryan his first time up.
Before striking out, Ryan threw him 15 pitches, a bunch of foul balls, and finally struck him out swinging. 3 hits in the inning now for Cincinnati. There goes Tracy Jones, and a fly ball hit to left field. Digging hard, Terry Poole still on the run. He's got it, and that ends the inning. The Reds have to be content with 1 run. They collect 3 hits, and they strand a couple. And as a result, at the end of 2.5, the Reds lead the Astros 1-0. 1-0 Cincinnati, as the Reds jump on Nolan Ryan for a run in the top half of this 3rd inning. RBI double by Cal Daniels, and now Ronnie Robinson with the slimmest of margins with which to work, but a lead nevertheless. Only the 2nd time in this series the Reds have enjoyed the luxury of a lead. They had a 1-0 lead after a half inning of play last night before Houston tied it up in their 1st inning. Billy Doran, Craig Reynolds, and Glenn Davis. As you look at Nolan Ryan getting a respite on the bench, and a quick look at that previous argument between Hal Lanier and Bob Davidson. A rocket foul, strike one. Robinson working himself out of a bases-loaded jam in the first inning. Gave up a 2-out hit in the second to Ryan before striking out Hatcher, so he's already had to overcome adversity. And getting ahead now on Doran, no balls, 2 strikes. Billy 1 for 1.
You know, it's interesting with the signing of Collins, Marty, that, you know, I'm sure they signed him because if they, for one reason, to see if he could play up here. There's no reason they'd ever use him in Nashville. So there's a possibility. And I've seen Dave Parker playing first base a lot in infield lately.
He has been working out at first base on almost a daily basis. And I think that everybody close to this ball club heralds the signing of Dave Collins. Dave, of course, was a vital part of a ball club that won a divisional title back in John McNamara's first year in 1979. I don't think there's any question that he can still run. And he had 79 stolen bases. One of those years was with Cincinnati in the late 70s and early 80s. Plus the fact he's a good guy to have on a ball club. So I think Dave Collins' stay in Nashville, if he performs well down there, will be temporary as Reynolds takes a strike. And Pete has really made no bones about the fact of lately that he's not happy, has not been happy with the productivity, or to be more precise of it, the lack of it, with his people coming off the bench. Nothing like having a guy coming off that bench late in a ball game, either a pinch hit or pinch run, who can steal a base for you. And when you look at the Reds bench as it stands tonight, of course, they've got Eric Davis over there. Normally, he'd be in the lineup. Barry Larkin has been there for a few days. He can get you a stolen base. But after that, what? Buddy Bell. 2 out. As usual, the old left-hander Joe Nuxhall will be leaving the radio booth and coming on over to the television side to work with Johnny Bench in innings 4 through 7. As Bell backpedals his way into position for first baseman Glenn Davis. Home runs have played a big key in this series for Houston. Billy Doran, the 6th inning homer to get the first run on the board on Monday night, and the home run that Davis hit last night. He will put on the brakes as Parker wheels back to the infield. The Astros have their 4th hit as Davis singles with 2 out.
Parker baited him just a little bit there, made the 360, thinking that he might swallow the bait, hook, line, and sinker and try to go to second, because Dave was set up, and then you could hear the little "oh" as he turned it loose and fired a seed right to Kurt Stillwell at second base.
Now Kevin Bass, who was intentionally walked his first time up, strike to him. They're in the 9th now at Olympic Stadium, where the Expos continue to pound the New York Mets 9-1. And in the 4th inning, the Pirates have jumped in front 2-0 over St. Louis. Late swing and an opposite field foul ball. It's 2 strikes.
Well, you know he's throwing hard because they're hitting it the opposite way, getting a little bit of their own medicine.
There's a true creature, and there's a true legend on the right. Joe Nuxhall and Andy McWilliams.
Is his glasses that bad he has to read like that, or is he just...
He's just hunched over watching the field, I think. A ball. Final now, 9-1. Expos beat the Mets. Reds lead by a run in the 3rd. Davis leading at first with 2 men out. Just missing outside. 2-2. Don't have that drippage coming through the ceiling tonight, do you?
Not yet. It usually comes around the 6th.
Whoa. You saw Ronnie Robinson's reaction to the pitch call by Terry Tata. Now somebody's getting on Terry, and I think it's Pete Rose from the Reds dugout.
I think it's more or less Scotty Breeden, and Pete's saying it wasn't me. What are you hollering at? He knocked his hat on. There's Scotty. Scotty's saying, hold on there, now be patient. Now Tommy.
Tommy Helms.
Now what's Davidson doing in there? Well, if you're going to get thrown out, you might as well go add to the bonus. I mean, you know, it's better than going inside and throwing at chairs and stuff like that. Let's get it out of the way. And I tell you, Ronnie really wanted this pitch. Nolan Ryan almost walked off the mound on another pitch that he thought was good. This breaking ball right there, I'd have to say it might have come around the corner, Marty.
Yep. And there's Robinson's reaction. So Tommy Helms is done for the night.
I think Bob Davidson was probably trying to come in and help Tommy, not so it wouldn't cost him any more.
Strikeout swinging with Davis going to end the inning. Ronnie Robinson gets his third, and at the end of 3 complete, Cincinnati leading the Houston Astros 1-0.
There you see Craig Reynolds making the catch of the pop-up there, and as Buddy Bell led off the inning against Nolan Ryan, and swinging at the first pitch.
I think Buddy would like to have another shot at that rascal, I'm telling you, right there. But just that little ride on the fastball, and Nolan gets a lot of those during the course of the ball game.
1-0. We're in the 4th. This is Johnny Bench, and Joe Nuxhall has come in to join me. And there you see the big train, Nolan Ryan. Facing Bo. Bo 0-for-1, 0-for-0. He walked the first time up. The only baseball balls given up in the game so far. And you been impressed with Ronnie so far?
Absolutely, and that pitch that Tommy Helms got thrown out on, I think he fooled Terry Tata.
Change up in the dirt. Runs the count to 2-0.
Been interesting with Nolan. He seems to be, I don't know, pacing himself, but he just isn't Pump City as he normally does. I mean, just crank it up all the time. He's been throwing a lot of off-speed stuff, breaking balls, and really not reaching back for that big one.
This one hit well. Down the left field line. Pruitt will get to it. He'll play it off the wall and probably hold Bo to a single. He does.
But a good play by Terry Poole in playing it off the wall, and played it perfectly. And you see, the thing is, getting the ball back to the infield is so important for the outfielder. Here's a look at Poole playing it off the wall, and he gets it perfectly, but his throw is on the way back to the infield when Bo makes the turn, and the throw was off to the right. But the point is, he had the ball coming back, and Bo had to bring it to a halt.
On the right of the screen, you see Jerry Crawford. That's the umpire at first base. He just came back on the field, twisted his ankle some way, and he went out to get it wrapped. The trainer for the Astros wrapped it, and now he's back on the field. So we have a full complement of umpires. There's Francona leading it back, hitting it back to Ryan, and Nolan not able to field it cleanly. A broken bat. And there you see Jerry Crawford right there. Yeah, he's twisted that ankle, and he's trying to walk it off. They taped it up, and they thought he would return, and he has. So with 2 outs in the inning, Ronnie Oster stands in, got a base hit down the right field line, hit the bag, and kicked up over Glenn Davis's glove and into right field. So Ronnie 1 for 1, a start of a good night, and hoping that he can continue the inning and try to get Ronnie Robinson up there. Reynolds given the fastball sign on the inside part of the plate, and just missing it inside. Turned over the fastball, going up with it easily, and a quick inning. Get a base hit in the inning, but we leave him.
And we go to the bottom of the fourth, leading 1-0. Bottom of the fourth, 1-0. The Reds lead it, and Joe Nuxhall over here with me. And Joe, a good friend of ours, passed away today.
Well, we're sorry to hear about Dick Hauser. I played with Dick back in 1961 when he was a rookie at Kansas City, and I tell you, I don't think there's a more respected person in the game of baseball than Dick Hauser, and certainly our sympathies are with his family at the moment in the sadness.
Ron Robinson starts the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Poole, Reynolds, and Jackson. And Terry 0 for 1. Foul back, and the count evens at 1 apiece. Well, he battled all the way, I'll say that. In spring training and had to leave. Billy Gardner took over for the Kansas City Royals. And sad note today is everyone in baseball grieves the loss of Dick Hauser. Hit down the left field line. Bounces right on top of the fence.
Dick, this spring, of course, when he was there the opening day of spring training for the Royals, and of course was on the field for a short period of time, had to go back to the clubhouse, and eventually had to close it down, shut it down, and you know, you just root for a guy like him. Well, you root for anyone, but Dick is a special person, and a great baseball man. He had a lot of success managing the Kansas City Royals. What, I think 3 first place finishes, a couple of second, and 1 third in 6 or 7 years there.
A great record and a great man. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and I guess it's some of the similarities, but I'm sure you were a lot closer to it when Freddie Hutchinson.
Yep, we experienced that right through all of it with Hutch, and boy, that's a tough thing.
2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out here. Reds lead at 1-0 over the Houston Astros, and Terry Poole battling Robinson, fouls one off, and Ronnie on a 85 pitch diet tonight, coming out of the bullpen. First start in, well, the last 101 ball games. He has had 100 games in relief. Ronnie got out of a bases loaded jam in the first inning. He's allowed base runners in all the other innings. As this one comes back, and I keep waiting for it. There it is. It'd be very hard for a ball to get up in this area. It would have to hit on the...
It'd be a surprise.
We're kind of under the ledge here as we look around here, and
right here, went right there, right down there.
Right down below there. Got a little overhang there, so Joe will not have to worry about saving me tonight. Another one popped in the air, and it'll go out of play over the Reds dugout.
Don, how about the Lamar Hoyt deal today?
Well, that was interesting, Joe. An arbitrator decided that, according to the contract, that he has to be given tests to prove that he is, well, drug-free, I guess you could say, or on drugs. And
I don't know. I tell you.
Well, it was interesting.
Guys ringed up, they ring him up 3 times and catch him with it and everything else. And
Cal Daniels with a diving catch, and that ball probably right near the lights. And Cal, last time in here, had a lot of problems running on the turf over towards the line, and he's still down on 1 knee out there.
Well, he has a lot of trouble with his left knee, John, and it looks like, well, it's his left or right in this case, but ball really slicing away from him and kind of sinking away from Cal, and he had to go down. Here's a look at Cal, and you see him there, and that ball really slicing down and away from him. So an excellent play by Cal Daniels.
Tracy Jones came all the way over from center field to shake hands with Cal, and Cal holding his elbow. We saw there, he really came down hard on the right elbow, and there you see the cheerleader.
We got to get him dirty some way.
Well, we got him on base. He was trying to steal and get dirty, but Dave Parker flied out the left field to end the inning, and that being in the 3rd inning. So a good play by Daniels brings up Ron Reynolds. Reynolds, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning, which is a strike on the outside part of the plate.
Boston leading Cleveland 1-0 there in the 7th. New York 4-2 over Baltimore in the bottom of the 7th. Here in New York, and Kansas City ahead of Oakland 5-3. Hanging breaking ball. Ron Reynolds, the side of it, but could not make the good contact. No balls and 2 strikes. We're in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, in a battle for first place. Houston Astros only a half a game behind the Reds after winning the first 2 games of this series, and the Giants have already lost. And he struck him out again with a good fastball on the outside part of the plate. Strikeout number 4 for Robbie. He's got 1 base on balls in the game, and that was intentional to Kevin Bass to load the bases in the first inning, and then got Terry Poole on a hard ground out to Ronnie. So Ronnie looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. Chuck Jackson 0 for 1 on the evening, playing at third base tonight. Denny Walling out with a sore back. Cranked up on a hanging curveball that took Tracy Jones to the warning track and only a half a step away from the center field wall. Trying to get Nolan Ryan up to the plate. This is down again, and the count runs no balls and 2 strikes. And I think Robbie, 2 balls and no strikes, and Robbie remembers the pitch that he threw that Jackson had the good hack on, and would just as soon pitch to Ryan if he had to. But one thing you'd like to do, get this 8th place hitter out and start off the inning with Ryan.
There he is. Nolan's hit 2 career grand slams. 1 his first year here, and 1 here, and 1 this year. I remember that. He hit it off of Don Sutton on a Saturday.
2 home runs, not grand slams.
No, I didn't say
well,
grand
you
slams.
said grand slams. You pitchers, when you start talking about pitchers, you get so excited, Joe. You start exaggerating about grand slam home runs.
I know better than that.
Grand slams.
Grand slams are hard to come by for pitchers, and most people.
Well, now, just solos and 3 runners are not grand slams.
They are to a pitcher.
Hit hard, but foul on the right field line.
20 years from now, you talk to Nolan, you'll probably find it was a grand slam.
Well, that was a great picture right there. Why? Well, because the guy had on the St. Louis hat and the lady had on the Cincinnati Reds hat. Mile high. I don't think it's going to hit the dome. Well, Ronnie Oster has to wait a long time for it to come down. 1, 2, 3. We finally get them in order. We go to the top of the 5th, leading 1-0. 1-0. Reds lead at the top of the 5th. You're looking for baseball and fireworks? Well, we've got it. Here's a great way to finish your 4th of July celebration. The Reds play the Mets at 7:05, followed by a great fireworks display 1/2 hour after the end of the game. It's an event for the whole family and a combination you won't want to miss. The Reds and the Mets at 7:05. They want you to come to the park and celebrate it with them. And it'll be followed by the fireworks, brought to you by WUBE and Cincinnati's Brewery. Ronnie Robinson leads off. Good sacrifice in the 3rd inning. And it got Ron Oster to second base, and Cal Daniels double drove in the only run thus far in the game. And Ronnie taking all the way, bluffs, and Noli misses downstairs. Carl Daniels waits on deck. He'll be followed by Kurt Stillwell. And he misses again outside. I would say right now that he's got 2 pitches to be taking.
And I would say that's for sure.
Well, he takes the first one. It's a strike. Takes the second one in the same place. All right, Ronnie. Cal waiting on deck. Great diving catch from the bottom of the 4th inning. denying Terry Poole of extra bases. And a double to go along with it.
All right,
Base hit in the center
yes,
field.
Pitcher.
Why not? Oh, good play. Good backhand stab by Billy Hatcher. They had played him over to right field, and Ronnie hit that one right on the nose. And Ronnie signaling to the bench, and there you see Tony also asking for the jacket. The Astrodome cool, and you certainly want to keep that arm warm.
See him jump all over that fastball. No, I would estimate that fastball at 97 to 8 miles an hour.
I'm assured you would. It's like a grand slam. That'll be a grand slam tomorrow. Good play by Billy Hatcher to backhand it. And the air conditioning here, you work up a sweat, but then you cool down. I remember Joe Morgan, between innings, always wore his jacket. And a lot of players down here in the Dome have to be really careful because there's a lot of back spasms that come with it. See, Suba, the bullpen catcher for the Astros, running down there. He's by himself right now, but looks like Aurelio Lopez coming out of the dugout, so they're getting somebody ready. A breaking ball down in the dirt to Daniels, who's 1 for 2 on the evening.
Here's Senior Smoke right there. He's a healthy hombre, isn't he?
Well, you know, you get the good diet of Mexican food down here. I had a little bit more today, and I think he's lost some weight. Ryan misses high and away, and it's 2 balls and no strikes, and it looks like right now that not in sync. I think when Robinson got around on the fastball, they thought something might be shortening up.
They're going to get Dave Meads up also down in the bullpen, joining Lopez.
That's just in case Dave Parker gets up with men in scoring position. Hit well in center field. Billy Hatcher turned around both ways. That ball's right at the base of the wall. Robinson will probably be held up at third. Cal Daniels goes into second base with his second double of the game. And men at second and third and nobody out. And Kurt Stillwell.
I'll tell you one thing. You throw Cal Daniels fastballs and get him out over the plate, and you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Here's a swing by Cal, and he got into it real good. And here's Hatcher, and he had a little problem of judging the ball, but I don't think he would have caught it had he broke on it real good. That ball hit the base of the fence.
Oh, that was a 1-iron right there.
2 straight for mine.
So Kurt Stillwell trying to extend the lead of the Reds. 1-0 they lead. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fielder's choice. And Ryan's going to have to reach back for a little extra. And he gets it. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Boy, this would be a real help to Ronnie Robinson and to the Reds to try to maintain first place. There you see Ronnie at third base. Cal Daniels down there with his second extra base hit of the game with a breaking ball. Kurt watching. Caught him in between. I think he may have been looking at the fastball, and there you see that deep sigh. Now and there. Les Moss there in the nearest part of the screen, the lower part. Hoping that Ryan can get out of the jam. Got away from Ron Reynolds. Able to retrieve the ball and get the ball down to first base. And Kurt went after a bad pitch there.
Now that, Ryan has been mentioned as throwing that, we'll call it the Emery ball, the Mike Scott sinker, whatever you want to call it. But that had a little different action than normal, I think, for a Nolan Ryan pitch, but certainly out of the strike zone.
Tracy Jones, base hit in the third inning, 1 for 2 on the evening, and Ryan really reached back, got the fastball by Kurt, and then curveball and an off-speed pitch, almost like a change-up, split finger of some sort. Got away from Ron Reynolds. Base runner's not able to advance. Ryan taking a while to get the signs. Ron Reynolds, of course, just catching Nolan for his first time, and
A lot of times pitchers use different sequences. They don't always use the same set of signs. So trying to communicate here. A very important time at bat. A check swing to Glenn Davis, able to pick it up, and it was an unassisted play for Glenn Davis. And boy, golden opportunity almost slipping away here.
Well, he's starting him off with a curveball, and you can see Tracy really fooled by the pitch as he tried to check his swing, and a big out. They're going to put Dave Parker on and pitch to Buddy Bell with the bases loaded. At least it was a signal from the Astro dugout. Hal Lanier putting up 4 fingers and saying, let's put him on, and that's exactly what they'll do to load the bases for Buddy. So Buddy pretty tough in these situations, and hopefully he'll come through.
Well, we saw this in the first inning when Kevin Bass walked to load the bases for the Houston Astros, and Ron Robinson got the ground ball from Terry Poole. So Hal Lanier playing the same percentages here. So it's up to Buddy. I guess that's why they pay their managers. There's the other one. So Parker at first base, Daniels down at second, and Ron Robinson over at third base present a lot of problems for that man. Nolan, of course, having been in this situation so many times. And runners on in scoring position. Buddy has a .260 average. Over the last season. Veteran against veteran. And, ooh. Well, you can see the changeup and a good pickup by Ron Reynolds.
Hey, Reynolds has been very impressive, John. I think in the 3 games we've watched him. The pitching staff very well, and they're not really catching the likes of Nolan Ryan or Danny Deshays in particular. Has done quite a job.
Second base with a double and a 2 RBIs.
Well, that was the same pitch, Buddy. I think just about the same pitch he popped up the last time up, and he jumped all over this one, a fastball. Here's a look at it, and watch where it is. There it is, right there, and that's the same pitch, and he didn't pop this one up. So both can get another hit. Why, things are being pretty good shape for the Reds.
Hal Lanier staying in the dugout. We'll let Nolan Ryan pitch to Bo, and well, a base hit right now would really put the Reds in good order. Change up right over at the knees for a strike. Crowd very fickle here. As are most crowds. Pulling for Nolan, and then all of a sudden giving up the extra base hit and asking him to be taken out. Chopper to Reynolds. He'll have time with Bo, and he gets him. But the Reds come up with a good inning. They score a couple of runs. They get 3 hits. They leave 2. And we go to the bottom of the 5th with the Reds leading it 3-0. Reds lead at 3-0. We're in the bottom of the 5th. And boy, you talk about weekend. We've talked about the 3rd and 4th of July. Well, Sunday, July the 5th, the Reds continue their big weekend series with the Mets, and we have a great special date for all of you young Reds fans. It's Borden's Drinking Mug Day, when the first 15,000 fans 16 and under will receive a free 12-ounce Reds drinking mug. This handy red and white mug will be a super item all year long. Great way to cap off your holiday weekend. The Reds and the Mets at 2:15 and Drinking Mug Day thanks to Borden Dairy. Ronnie Robinson holding the Astros to 4 hits and no runs at this point. Will face a pinch hitter as Phil Garner comes up. That'll be the night for Nolan Ryan. He gives up 3 runs, all earned, 7 hits in 4 innings. So Phil Garner leads off. Garner pinch hit last night. Got a base hit in the 8th inning. Now stands in again. A 38-year-old veteran, scrap iron. Played for the Oakland A's and Pittsburgh Pirates. Looks at a fastball high. 225 hitter on the year. Three home runs and 15 RBIs. Looks at a pitch outside, and similar to how Nolan Ryan started the top of the 5th inning to Ron Robinson. Ronnie, big base hit starting off that inning. Set up the 2 runs that scored. This time it's over the plate. It counts 2 balls and 1 strike. Billy Hatcher on deck. He'll be followed by Billy Doran. And hopefully that's all. There you see Billy. Ball on the outside part of the plate. Foul back into the crowd. And the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Joe, it'll be interesting. Of course, it depends on the run total at that particular time to see who comes in relief of Ronnie, whether it be Bill Landrum or Rob Murphy.
I would have to think Frank Williams, the way he's been pitching, without a doubt. Good fastball there.
Real good fastball. So Robbie chalks up his 5th strikeout of the game.
Here's a pitch that the Reds were having trouble with off a couple of guys Monday and Tuesday night on a high thumb ball.
And he got Kevin Bass on that high fastball, so he's been ahead. He's decided why not. If it worked for the Astros, why not try it here? Billy Hatcher with a base hit to lead off the game. Swings at the first pitch. Down the right field line. A long run for Parker. Got it. And it's fair. Would have been a fair ball, Harry Wendelstedt tells you. And Harry Wendelstedt now has moved over to umpire first base, and that's easier for Jerry Crawford. Crawford with a twisted ankle has moved over to third, and there you see Parker.
Dave had a pretty good run for that ball. It looked like it was going to be a fairly decent easy catch for him, but he had to go a long way for it.
Well, the turf is really bad in this ballpark. It's been in, I think, since 1975. They're planning on changing it next year. I was talking to Pat Pasillo down in the dugout about 4:30 this afternoon, and he said, well, they really don't take good care of this place. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, this AstroTurf, and I had not walked out onto the field. And then I'm talking with Dennis Mickey and Hal Lanier. They both brought up the same thing, that it has really got a lot of seams. The foul tip for 0-2, and a lot of, even from this angle, you can see.
John, there's a lot of waves in the outfield. When I say rises, if you go across the outfield, you'll actually go over a little hump, and it's caused problems for outfielders.
Well, the lines, the football lines have been down so many times, and they usually wash them off with soap or whatever ingredients. And there's some of the seams right now. Those aren't the football lines, but you can see it separated there. And well, there you see it connected the other way. I'd say it's true. I think it's time. There you see the football lines there on the left part of the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Doran fouls it back in the screen. Billy 1 for 2. He followed Hatcher's base hit with another first pitch hitting single into left field. Got his average over 250 for the first time in a while at 251. And this 1 for 2 evening. There's that high fastball. He tried to get it at Doran. Two balls and 2 strikes. Popped it up foul. Lopez was the last one throwing down in the bullpen, and when you look at hitters coming up for the Reds, will be Francona, Oster, and Robinson. Whether he would want to go with a left-hander or whether he'll go with Lopez. So he has the choice of Meads or Lopez. Hopefully it's a 1-2-3 inning as Robinson misses with a curveball and the count goes to full. So Ronnie, with a limit of 85 pitches tonight, tries to get out of the inning with a fastball that Doran pops up, and Kurt Stillwell will have room to play. 1-2-3 inning following a good inning on the top of the fifth for the Reds. So they go into the sixth. They lead it 3-0.
Seniors.
3-0, the Reds lead it, and Terry Francona comes up to the plate to face Senor Smoke.
Well, here's Aurelio Lopez in relief of Nolan Ryan. For Lopez, he'll be making his 26th appearance with the strike for Terry Francona. 1-2 and lost 1. 37 innings, 33 hits, 12 walks, and 21 strikeouts. Lopez worked 5 innings against Chicago on the 2nd of June. That's the longest of any relief pitcher this year for Houston.
Well, you talk about length of innings as Terry Francona rips a base hit into center field. Billy Hatcher quickly over to cut it off, and Francona on with the 8th base hit for the Reds, and that's a 1-for-3 evening for Terry Francona after hitting into 2 fielders' choices. Ron Robinson's longest stint in his 100 relief appearances was 4 2/3 innings. So for Robbie, at least in the last couple of years, it's his longest time, and I'm sure he's telling Pete right there that, man, I can hit. You don't have to sacrifice me.
Hey, he's still throwing the ball good, John.
Oh, he's a big, strong kid, Joe. You know.
But still, you know, when you've gone that long and thrown as much as he has in 100 relief appearances, it's pretty good stamina.
Ball hit hard into center field. And now Ronnie Robinson will be up with men in first and second, and the crowd not happy. They came to see a Houston Astros club go into first place. And Les Moss down in the first base dugout for the Astros telling somebody, get up and get out there. You see Terry telling Ronnie, nice hitting. And there's 2 guys that we have needed to hit, and they have provided the offense tonight.
Well, Robbie 1 for 1, and they, in fact, figured in all the scoring in a sense in the 3rd inning. After Oster singled, put on the sacrifice bunt, and then led off that 5th inning with a single and scored on Buddy Bell's double. So he's been a part of the offense also.
Well, he probably will try to punt to third base. I'm sure Pete Rose might have told him that the rookie over at third base would be the kind of guy you'd want to do it. And he's going, that's the way to do it. Tell you what, those infielders, the shortstop and second baseman, both broke. Reynolds to third, Doran to first, as the third baseman and first baseman both started charging, and Ronnie did exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's acted like he's used that bat a lot to have only 3 ABs this year.
Well, they practice at home. During their batting practice, they take a certain amount of time to do the bunting, and things don't work out very well at all. Bad throw, and we get a break out of that one, to say the least. Terry Francona was on his way to third when Robinson popped the bunt up, and the throw by Reynolds took Craig Reynolds away from the bag, and Terry able to get there back safely. Here's another look at it. Here's the pop-up off the bat of Ron Robinson. You see Ron Reynolds fielding, and now the throw, which is back to Craig Reynolds' right, and a diving slide by Francona, and he's there safely. So a break in a sense for the Reds.
Boy, and how, and there wasn't anything Terry could do. That ball is bunted out, and you do have no idea how far out in front of the plate he is. The ball is bunted, and it looked like that just as Reynolds threw, his left foot landed on the AstroTurf. Another base hit for Cal Daniels. They're going to send Francona. Bass has got a chance, but it's a short throw. He fell down. He's not going to make it.
How about that one, you all? Yeah, that's a very embarrassing thing for Terry Francona, to say the least. Let's see if we can see what happened. Look at Terry come around third here, and he's in good shape right there, and in good shape. And now he stumbles, and down he goes, and boy, he's crawling for dear life, but he just can't get there. Tough break for the Reds, and a big break for the Astros.
To 3-2 on the putout. Screwball down and away to Stillwell. Kurt 1 for 3 tonight, and digging for all he's worth. He knows that Bass has a good arm, and reminded me of when I was in the Army, going under those live ammunition. I think right now Terry Francona wish he'd got shot. So 2 outs in the inning.
Well, the best thing that can happen out of this certainly is a win, and then enjoy the ribbing in the clubhouse.
Well, the ribbing was just started. That was Pete Rose who said something to Terry, and Terry walking down towards there. And tell you what, there's not much relief in that dugout. Those guys, I know you want to dig a hole, but the best thing you can do is kid somebody about it a little bit, because otherwise you won't hit suicide. There's a base hit. That'll drive in a run. Oster scores. Daniel goes to third base, and Lanier listening to a chorus of boos.
Here's a look at the pitch to Stillwell. Looked like a slider that got out over the plate, and Kurt took care of it. Picks up his 19th RBI of the year.
That's how you score. So they change places. And then in first and third for Tracy Jones. Tracy 1 for 3 on the night. Hit it well in the left field. Pull back to the wall.
Out of here.
Jones, and the Reds lead it 7-0.
And Tracy Jones, this bud is for you, partner. That's a nice little score.
Hey, what I tell you, Drake?
Let's stay in first place, they're saying. There you see Aurelio Lopez been showered by boos here in the Astrodome, and he gives up another base hit. Dave Parker continues the inning, and well, I know Hal Lanier has no choice now, but he wanted to end the inning. He hated to go out and take him out, and already he has signaled for the right-hander to come in. So there'll be a pitching change. 6 hits in the inning. The Reds score 4 runs. And there goes Lopez. So a break in the action here in the top of the 6th inning with 4 runs in. We'll take time out as the Reds lead it 7-0. Reds lead it 7-0 here in the top of the 6th, and Ron Mathis comes in relief of Aurelio Lopez, and the Reds with 6 hits and 4 runs in the inning take a commanding 7-run edge.
Now Ron Mathis, a rookie right-hander, this will be his 3rd appearance since joining the Astros, has a 3 earned run average, as you see, and in 3 innings has allowed 1 base hit, has walked 4, and has not struck out anyone. So Mathis with no decisions to this point. Buddy Bell will be the batter, and Buddy with the big hit in that 5th inning after the intentional pass to Dave Parker.
Buddy with 2 RBIs on the night. Gets his first look at Ron Mathis. He hangs the breaking ball down low to him, and Reds offense coming alive against Nolan Ryan, who had been pitching so well. The Reds with 4 runs in the inning, and of course 3 of those runs came on Tracy Jones' 7th home run. And there's Tracy and Rob Murphy talking to John Franco, all talking about it. And there's a hanging breaking ball right there, and better run, Tracy. It didn't go that far. I guess he knew what he was doing. Buddy chops one over to Jackson. Jackson's throw gets it to end the inning. 4 runs in the inning on 6 hits. And they leave 1 base runner, Dave Parker. We go to the bottom of the 6th with a commanding 7-0 lead. Well, the Reds 7 runs on 13 hits. The Astros no runs on 4 hits. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. There you see Tracy. And gosh, you wonder how much ability these left fielders, outfielders have. Some of these guys aren't playing, and Daniels and Jones with excellent nights tonight. And here's a young man going a little farther than he's been in a heck of a long time after 100 appearances. Well, he's already into no man's land. First ball hit in the air. Daniels coming in, Stillwell going out, and it's Daniels making the play. So the longest stint for Ron Robinson, 4 2/3 innings in relief, and now already 5 1/3. And you might think that this might be his last inning, Joe. I would think that I would give him a little cushion, wouldn't you?
I just really think that he's not. He was, I'd say, around 60, 65 pitches. John, 4 hits. He's had a fairly easy inning last couple of the last inning, but the 4th inning he's retired the side now 2 innings in a row. He's retired 8 straight batters. So you know, hitting the first pitch like Reynolds did adds up as far as minuses, I guess, in pitches.
Davis also swings at the first pitch and swings at the second pitch as well. Hit hard down the line. Daniels may have a play if he gets it out of his glove. He doesn't. Well, it's a double for Glenn Davis.
Well, here's a look at Davis's swing, and he hits it between Buddy and the bag on down the line, and Cal played it very nicely down there and came up with it, and just I think he was going to rush the throw. It looked like he wanted to get rid of it in a hurry because he saw he had a chance at Davis at second base.
So the inning continues with 1 out here. Kevin Bass, followed by Terry Poole, and a little miscommunication, and Bass steps out. Well, the only thing I'm saying, Joe, is it is his first time out this long, and maybe they might consider that. He has had a relatively easy game, like you say, retiring 8 batters in a row before Davis.
I would think if that was if he was close, John, they would have somebody throwing.
This ball hit well too. This will find the gap. Parker will be able to cut it off, but Kevin Bass will go into second base, and the Astros have their first run of the game on back-to-back doubles by Davis and Bass. So that might get somebody moving around down there.
That it will, and it's going to be Rob Murphy, it looks like.
Well, the first time out, you don't want to push it. When you got the cushion, the thing you don't want to use is too many relievers, as you so aptly said, with him going tonight and Hoffman tomorrow night.
Here's Scotty Breeden out, and he'll have a word with Robbie and give him a little breather maybe and see if he's all right. So Scott give him a little time, and now we'll head back to the dugout with Rob Murphy throwing down in the bullpen. So 1 out, run in, and a man at second.
Hoffman will go against David Palmer tomorrow night in Atlanta. We'll be there to cover the ball game. Hopefully he can give him a good outing as well, and the Reds offense can pick up. They were 2-2 over the weekend against the Braves. The Braves have won 2 out of 3 from San Francisco, and whatever Scotty said worked. Hit in the left field where Daniels able to make the play, and hustling back to second is Kevin Bass. 2 out in the inning. Astros down by 6 as Ron Reynolds comes up, He's 0 for 2, both being strikeouts tonight. And
also Frank Williams now throwing, John, along with Murph.
so one of those two more than likely will be the candidate as they continue with this and continue warming up. They'll be ready and might as well out there get loosened up, see what Pete's decision is. And Reynolds, I would guess, might be first ball hitting as well. You have a tendency to first ball hit, Joe, when you've struck out twice, and you don't want anything past to make that happen again.
Well, John, I think in the previous 2 games, Reynolds drove in 2 runs, and if you'll remember, one was a sacrifice fly, and the other was a double to a right center field, and both pitches were down.
Like that?
Not quite that low.
Well, he hit a breaking ball last night, a slider down and away, and what he was trying to do in that situation was go to right field with a man at second, and well, maybe he ought to think about doing that more often because it was a good stroke. And Robinson right now with a little edge on Ron Reynolds. Gets a fastball down and away. It'll curve into foul territory and out of the reach of any of the Reds. Dave Parker will offer a souvenir. What am I give for it? He's going to give it to Mr. Subin. Nobody offered enough. Girl in a bikini top.
I think they have put an automatic fine on tossing the ball in the stands.
Well, I know they did it one time. It was $50 because there's so many lawsuits. Guys throwing the ball in the stands, they fight for the ball to get it, and as a result, there's been some lawsuits. So I remember one time when that was in effect, and I laid a ball on top of the dugout.
They like to kill themselves.
They turned me in $50. So if you don't get a ball from a player, you have to understand that's the reason. They might include you in the lawsuit, and if they do, well, you know those lawyer fees right now.
I feel a lot of them in the stands.
Yeah, but we're talking about when you pick it up and throw it in the stands, Joe. We're not talking about when you hit it.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
Game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll make sure that you know that your local news will follow right after the game. We're at 9:35 Central Time.
Dollar Bill's just all smiles tonight back up here.
Well, he was a bear the last 2 nights.
He was nasty, wasn't he?
Well, you know, he takes a losing heart. We're talking about Bill Bergis, the general manager, who is sitting up here with us. I don't know if he is a spy for us, but there he is up here, folks. Just give us a little wave there. Just wave. Will you wave there?
Well,
there you go.
All right.
Get that cigar lit. Is that the Red Arback cigar? He lit it up early tonight.
The Bernie Stone cigar.
Breaking ball hit off the fist. Tracy Jones, plenty of room. And that'll end the inning. But the Astros come up with a run on 2 doubles. They leave one. They still trail the Reds 7-1. We go to the 7th. Reds lead at 7-1. Top of the 7th here in the Astrodome. Johnny Bench along with Joe Nuxhall, and Ron Mathis begins the 7th inning for the Astros. The 3rd pitcher for the Astros tonight. Down in the Reds bullpen, Billy Landrum has started to loosen up. 6-run lead. Pete might give him a little time out there on the mound, or he may just be loosening up. We'll be able to tell you more about that, of course, right after we complete this inning, and hopefully we might add up a little more. Chop foul. Bo Diaz, the only man not to bat in the 6th inning when the Reds scored 4 times. Put a big 4th spot on the board. There he is.
There's Robbie, and if we search around, let's see if anybody's getting a bat in case Robbie should get up this inning.
Well, he would be the 4th hitter in the inning, and I would imagine that
we know neither guy to his left or right is going to hit.
Off-speed pitch by Mathis. And looks like Mr. Mathis is a bit of a off-speed type pitcher.
That's a possibility.
There's a
helmet on.
Paul 0 for 18 in his last trips to the plate. He could use a base hit. This ball hit well, but it will not stay fair in the park. Raise it up a little, and there you'll see him chasing for it. So Bo has the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and he's got a base hit tonight. The ball hard off the left field wall that Terry Poole played the way you're supposed to play it and held Bo to a single. Now Mathis, ball high on his glove, goes a breaking ball. Billy Dawkins over the time and makes a nice play on it.
There's a slider. You'll see it here. Bo reaches out, just kind of punches out that way. It's really a pitch out of the strike zone, but darn, a pretty nice leaping backhanded stab of it.
Terry Francona stands in, and he's hit safely in 9 of his last 11 starts. Getting right around the 300 mark, 294. Terry with a base hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. Led off the 6th inning with a base hit. Before Oster got a single, and Robinson tried to sacrifice, but popped it up, and then really the big play in the inning. This one hit down the left field line. It's a fair ball. Francona around first into second base, and Poole having a little problem picking it up. Big play in the inning was when Robbie tried to sacrifice bunt, and Reynolds fielded the ball in the air for the putout, and then threw wildly to second base. And then, of course, Terry had the misfortune of falling down trying to score, which...
Here's the ball hit by Terry, and of course Poole having to lay back from the line. He bobbles the ball a little bit there, but a stand-up double regardless for Terry Poole. But you can see Terry Poole having to lay off the line because of it. It hits that little place where it shoots out. Now it kicks into left field, and in this case it went on down the line.
Ronnie trying to have a good night, raised his average 7 points to 229 as a result of the 2 for 3 night. Francona a little bit embarrassed when he tried to score on a base hit by Cal Daniels. And he showed it earlier, him stumbling, losing his rhythm as he rounded third, and only about 25 feet from the plate stumbled and fell, and then tried the low crawl, but Ron Reynolds took the throw from Glenn Davis, who got the throw from Bass, and was an easy put out, and I'm sure it's going to make this week in baseball. You can bet on that.
That will be in the bobbles. Is that what they call it? Or I think that's what it is, the bobbles or something. I don't know.
One of those things, yeah.
It'll be part of the laughing.
I'm not helping you a lot, am I?
Be the laughing part of the highlights.
Fastball by Mathis. Gets his first strike against Oster, and the count is 3-1.
I think Terry actually tripped over one of the markers in the football field.
They need to wash those, Joe. They do get a little high down there. He got it about the 5-yard line. Off-speed pitch by Mathis gets the count to full 3-2. Ron Mathis on in relief of Aurelio Lopez, who pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 6 hits and all 4 runs in the 6th inning. Now tries to stop Oster from having a real good night, but it's still a 2 for 3 evening for Ronnie. As he goes down to first base, and then at first and second base, and Paul O'Neill will indeed. That for Ron Robinson. So a good night for Ronnie Robinson. Pitches 6 strong innings, gives up a run and 6 hits. Run earned, and there you see Ronnie, either tired or displeased about coming out. And O'Neill stands in batting 156 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Now let's get a base hit, Paulie. Let's get that confidence back up here. Screwball or a curveball down in the strike zone for a ball. There's a fastball for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Francona down at second base. Ronnie at first. As Ron Mathis wearing number 13. Looks in at the sign for Reynolds. Throws another fastball on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reds trying to extend their lead, trying to pad it up a little bit. Hit hard right at Davis, and that'll get Oster. Well, he had nowhere to go. Double play, and he hit it hard. They leave a runner. They get 2 hits, 1 hit in the inning. Reds go to the bottom of the 7th. They lead it 7-1.
Now the Reds leading 7-1 as the Astros bat here in the bottom half of the 7th, and it'll be Bill Landrum on the mound for the Reds facing Chuck Jackson, who fouls off the first pitch. Landrum 2-1 on the year with a .464 earned run average. He is making his 12th appearance. Started 2 games for the Reds. 21 innings, 20 hits, 6 walks, and 13 strikeouts. He's in front 0-1 to Chuck Jackson. Missing down low. A ball, a strike. Jose Cruz on deck to hit for Ron Mathis. The Reds with 1 big inning, the 6th, and they scored 4 times against Aurelio Lopez. Fastball lined in the right field, a base hit for Jackson, his first of the game.
So Bill Landrum treated rather rudely here. And you hear that? Well, you can listen to it for just a second. What are they saying? That's exactly what they're saying. Cruz, Jose, coming in to pinch hit for Ron Mathis, and Dave Means warms up in the bullpen. So Jose Cruz trying to get the Astros back in the ball game. Keep this crowd here. This could be the last inning that most of these people stay here if they don't score. And a good sinker by Landrum, foul at the plate.
Jose, kind of a unique hitter when you think about it, the way he lifts his front leg off the ground. Not too many hitters are quite that exaggerated with it.
Sadaharu and Milano obviously come to mind. And then Landrum's breaking ball hangs high. Jaw in his left jaw as Francona gets Jackson to jump back, and Billy misses downstairs, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Well, he walks him, and you're going to see a little more action, I would assume, in the Reds bullpen. Got him to chase the high fastball, and Jose, who's not been playing lately, very anxious to get back into the lineup.
Here's a look at that right foot, how high he kicks it, and that ball up and out of the strike zone.
Chopped on the ground as Jackson is on the run, and Ronnie's only played at first base, so 1 out of the inning, and he swung with 2 bad pitches in a row. And we appreciate it, as does that man. Reds go to Atlanta tonight for a 4-game series there, and Pat Porcello will follow Guy Hoffman.
Well, the Braves did a pretty good job on the Giants at Fulton County Stadium.
Really did. Winning 2 of the 3 ball games there, and that got Atlanta back to 500 and back into the race. And it knocked the San Francisco Giants down another notch as the Giants went into 3rd place after the victory by the Astros last night and the night before. Landrum working with a strike ahead to Billy Hatcher. Misses down low. Billy 1 for 3 on the evening. Single to open the first, the 3rd consecutive night that he's led off with a single for the Astros, and this time a breaking ball chop. Kurt's going to have to hurry. He's got the gun. He's got to take it. He's safe.
That'll be a base hit for Billy Hatcher, and I don't. Here's Kurt fielding the ball. Now he has to brace and throw back, and I don't know whether Terry came off the bag or not. And if he didn't, he was out.
Well, a close call for Harry Wendelstedt, and runners now at first and third, and Kurt had to wait for that big hop. You never know what it's going to do on this turf because of the unevenness of it. That's normally not the case. But Billy Doran now stands in with a chance to close the gap for the Astros, and Landrum's fastball hit right on the fence. Could be two. Stillwell, Oster, got it, double play. Landrum gets out of the inning, gives up 2 base hits. The double play helps out. The Reds continue to lead at 7-1. We're going to the 8th inning. Well, we're back here in the 8th inning here in the Astrodome, and Marty has come over to join me, and well, we've got a few runs to work with here. Ron Robinson, a great job, and of course the offense has turned it on.
You guys had a lot of fireworks.
Boy, didn't we?
That was impressive and a lot of fun. As the fun returns here in Houston after 2 dismal nights for Peach Ball Club. They caught Nolan Ryan on an off night, made the most of it, and then really lowered the boom on the guy who followed him, Aurelio Lopez. Got some changes now for the Astros. There's Jose Cruz, who pinch hit in the last inning. He stays in the game to play left field. Terry Poole moves over to center. And Billy Hatcher out of the lineup. And, of course, the new pitcher, left-hander Dave Meads. Cal Daniels going for a 4th hit as he checks his swing in time. It's ball 1.
All right, he's got a 4-1 record, does Meads, with a 6.39 ERA. So I guess it's being at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. With an ERA that high and with a record like that, that's the only way it can happen. Well, the ball hit the bat. Inadvertent contact to even things up at 1-1. Since grounding out in the first inning, Daniels has doubled in a run. He has doubled and scored. He has singled and scored. Jumped that batting average up to 322. And he has a 4 for 5 night. Two singles, 2 doubles for Cal Daniels. And hit number 15 for Cincinnati.
Marty, did you notice about Meads? As he starts to wind up, his eyes close. Now, where was I supposed to throw that?
I know. Well, with that ERA, you might be praying. Well, there are all sorts of ways that they go about doing it.
Yeah, we got Valenzuela's.
That's right. Here's Kurt Stillwell turning around for the first time. Off-speed pitch, a ball. Stillwell got it on the act in the 6th inning with an RBI base hit. He's 1 for 4. Ball 2. Well, it was a night that the Astros had hoped that they would go into first place, but it certainly doesn't appear that that will happen. Instead, the Reds will leave town, barring an unbelievable comeback, with a 1.5 game lead. There's a strike.
A lot of faith in a curveball. 2-0 count.
In the top half of the 8th, the Reds have now had 15 hits.
And that man's got a lot of them, and that man can hit.
He can that. That ball's hit pretty well back into left center. Cruz going back into the gap, still on the move, and cannot make the play. Daniels held up. He comes to third. They wave him around as Cruz had trouble finding the handle on it. Play at the plate, not in time as the ball is cut off by Davis. A 3-base hit for Stillwell, and the Reds get the run back and again lead by 7.
Well, that's what we've been looking for, offense. And boy, we have been getting it. There's the young man who picked up a couple of hits tonight. That with his RBI to go along with the evening. And I tell you, this guy can still play defense. He had to go a long way and just ran out of room. He ran forever, seemed like, to get to that point. And Kurt never slowed down. He was headed to third all the way. Cal had to hold up as he checked it, but able to score the 8th run of the night for Cincinnati.
And here's Tracy Jones, who's also had a good night. And there's his 3rd hit as Stillwell waltzes in from third, and it's a 9-1 game.
That'll clear out the parking lot.
Oh, yeah. talking sweep. Not tonight, folks. A somber Houston dugout. That's the way it looked in the Reds dugout on Monday and Tuesday night. 6-17 hits now. This is the most that the Reds have had in any one ball game since the 29th of May, when at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh they had 18 in a 13-6 win over the Pirates. And they've got a chance to get some more. Parker taking ball one.
Cal Daniels, four-hit game tonight. He became the 8th different Red, Marty, with 4 hits in a game this season.
Get out of here.
I am serious.
Get out of here.
You know why I'm so sure of it?
Why?
Jim Ferguson.
What can I tell you? The ominous presence of the man who knows it all. Parker waves at a curveball.
You know, there he is right there, Cal Daniels. I'll tell you. And what do, Ferg? You sit around and know these things are coming up. I mean, you say, you look this far ahead. Are you anticipating?
Well, I'd have had it on the note sheet before you would have known at the start of the game if I was really that sure.
Fergie, you can do it all, pal. You can do it all. I mean, do it all. Now the curveball misses. The Reds are also only 1 hit away from equaling their season's high, or make that 2 hits away from equaling their season's high.
Was that on the notes, too?
No, that's in my book. They collected 19 here in Houston on the 26th of April. Well, I try. You're not the only person who echoes that thought, by the way. 2-1 pitch. That's hit hard but foul. And we'll pause 5 seconds for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds television network.
You're watching the Indiana sports station, WTTV, Channel 4.
More numbers to throw at you. The 4-hit game for Daniels tonight, the first of his major league career. So the 2 young guys would be combatants for that left field spot under normal circumstances. Daniels and Jones have between them had 7 hits and 5 RBIs.
And Cal, of course, got cheated out of one.
Yes, he did. Certainly did. Parker lifts one into shallow right field. A late break for Bass, and he makes the play nevertheless. A shot at a double play. Did not get it as the ball gets through. That's a pretty good play by Kevin Bass, because I think his first action was to break back on the ball and then on a long run to take a hit away from Dave Parker.
Not only was it a good catch, you look immediately at what he does. I mean, he comes up and immediately fires underhand just like that, and that is reaction time. That is knowing what you're supposed to be doing, knowing where everybody is on the field, and of course Cal Daniels would have taken the arm off of Glenn Davis had he tried to tag him. He tried to anyway.
Now Buddy Bell, who of all the hits the Reds have had tonight, arguably has had the biggest, the 2-out 2-run double in the 5th inning.
Well, nobody's been shut out, that's for sure.
Nope.
Even Ronnie Robinson. And Paul O'Neill had a chance at it, and he roped it as hard as anybody.
Too bad he couldn't have gotten that ball up in the air. He's throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom half of the 9th inning in St. Louis. The Pirates would appear to be on their way to a victory, leading St. Louis 4-0. One pitch. They rock it. Chuck Jackson to second, and on to Davis for the double play. 2 runs in the Reds' 8th inning, 3 hits, nobody left on. And at the end of 7 1/2, the Reds now lead the Houston Astros by a score of 9-1.
Reds lead at 9-1, the bottom of the 8th inning. And you know, when you want to shop, fans, you go to the new Reds gift shop at the Hyatt Regency in Cincinnati. It's stocked with great new gift items and souvenirs. Come into the new expanded location, and you will be sure to find the right idea for that gift to your favorite Reds fans. You can also buy tickets to all upcoming Reds games while you're shopping. Come and see us, the new Reds gift shop located in the lobby of the Hyatt Regency Hotel at 5th and Elm Streets downtown. And we want to say hello to some friends of ours at WETO-TV in Greenville, Tennessee. General manager there is Bob Lochte, and the national sales manager, Jay Austin. And there you see one of a few changes for the Reds.
Yes, sir. Davey Concepcion now has gone into play first base, and Terry Francona has moved from first base to right field. And Bill Landrum back for his second inning of work as he throws a bullseye to Craig Reynolds. There's Francona getting his first play in the outfield this season. Dave Parker lifted. Davey going to first and Terry out to right. Landrum got out of trouble in the 7th inning. With runners at first and third, he got Billy Doran to ground to shortstop, and the Reds turn a major league double play. Stillwell, Oster, and Francona. Off the handle. Oster to Concepcion. One out.
Reynolds really has been on a hot streak, and you wonder if moving up into the batting order, third spot, makes a difference. First time they've really had a lot of success against Craig, as he's gone 0 for 3 tonight.
Glenn Davis, a one-out double in the 6th inning, and then came home to score on a 2-base hit by Kevin Bass. That's the only time Houston has scored tonight.
I think he's swinging a bat well right now.
Davis?
Yeah.
I hope to shout he is.
I'm going to tell you, those are aggressive swings. We've seen him start with last night, of course, when he hit the ball up in the 3rd deck, and there's a little Loge deck in between here, and then the gray seats, and then they got the colored seats. He wants now, that's the first time he's reached that level. He said he'd like to go upstairs, and he was trying to right there.
Ball a strike. There's a look at where he hit the ball last night. Now watch as the camera pulls out. You gain some type of impressive perspective as to what a shot that was. 1 and 2.
And if you'll raise it up one more time, you'll see where he was trying to hit the last 2 swings, or the last 2 pitches he's had. There they are.
Get a nosebleed up there, folks.
Ouch.
Infield base hit.
Will he rub it?
No, he won't rub it.
Will Mr. Starr come out?
South Carolina boy, he's a gamer.
All right, okay. I can't say anything.
If it had been an Oklahoma boy, you'd have said something.
You're right. I apologize.
Okay. Here's Kevin Bass. RBI double. He's a man who so far has kept the Astros from being shut out. Reds in front 9-1 as they have put a hurting tonight on Houston after the Astros pitching overpowered the Reds in the first 2 ball games. Scott, then Deshays, and of course Dave Smith both nights. Routine fly ball, but Daniels will play for out number 2. Davis in the dugout. Very good chance he'll be in the lineup tomorrow night against David Palmer and the Atlanta Braves.
Left-handed?
Well, I don't know. Seemingly has been able to do everything.
He's emulating Terry Poole. It's good to see the boys laugh. There was not many laughs around Houston.
Ball 2 in those strikes. 2-0. Rick Rushell up among the league leaders in National League earned run average. Did it again tonight as he beat Bob Force and the Cardinals 4-1. Rushell claims his 5th victory, and they had a crowd of almost 31,000 in St. Louis. No play for Buddy Bell. This will certainly make the plane ride just a tad shorter going into Atlanta.
I'm getting ready to get Eric Davis and Lloyd McClennan's money, too.
No, you're not. Well, Davey broke for it. Stopped. Oster couldn't get to it. And a knock for Terry Poole. Couple of runners on. Ron Reynolds will bat with 2 out.
You check with me tomorrow about the poker game, all right? It's not really poker the way they play it. It's kind of showdown. You know, you just throw the cards out there. You don't have to think a lot. That's why I figured I'd be right there with them. You know, the old catch.
Reynolds has struck out twice and has fly to center field.
Now, Robinson in his 6 innings only had 3 ground ball outs. This is a good place for him to be pitching.
I was going to say, if you're going to be a fly ball pitcher, this is a place. Tracy. Second time tonight, Ron Reynolds has put a charge into one with nothing to show for it. And for the second straight inning, Billy Landrum dances off the hook. The sum total is we've completed 8, and the Reds lead by 8. Ninth inning of action, and once again we want to remind our stations along the Reds Television Network line, stay tuned immediately after the completion of our telecast, and your local news will be coming your way. Dave Meade's back for his second inning. The Reds touched him up for a couple of runs in the 8th inning. Daniels single, Stillwell tripled him home, and Jones banged him in. Could have been worse than that. Kevin Vance made a fine play in shallow right to take one away from Dave Parker, and then Buddy Bell bounced into a double play. Here's Bo Diaz, and he's 1 for 3 with a walk.
Marty, here's a time when the 24-man rule hurts, because usually we would have another catcher right here and you could have relieved Bo, and Bo got beat up last night. I talked about the one foul tip that hit him on the thigh. I saw that bruise today. I mean, on the inside of his leg, just above the knee, and I tell you, it's yellow and purple and green, and it'll turn blue tomorrow. Plus, he also ran into Buddy Bell over there and got his knee banged up a little bit. So these are long games here in the Dome.
I'll tell you, that's a fact. The Monday night game, 2 hours and 42 minutes. Last night, 2:44. And this one is going to be somewhere in that same neighborhood. 2-2.
Well, 31,236 turned out tonight to see if the Astros could go into first place. And with a 9-1 lead, they spaced themselves out. The parking lot right now filled up, the streets.
Tell you one thing, he still stings a baseball. Hit number 18.
Is that a new high?
No, they're 1 away.
Okay. Well, this lead, and of course, Bill Landrum coming in to relieve Ron Robinson, will have his first major league save if he's able to work out of the ninth.
As a matter of fact, he will. Terry Francona looking for a 3-hit ball game. Has singled and doubled. Ball strike. Another one. Ron Oster on deck. He's also had a good night. Of course, when you get 18 hits, there are going to be more than just a handful of folks that help those batting averages along. There's Oster. One out. And only one.
How about that? 3 fielders choice.
Yep. Now Oster, who is single and scored, grounded out, single and scored again in the 7th inning, drew a walk. Daniels with 4 hits, Stillwell with 2, Jones with 3. Parker had a hit, Bell had a big 2-run double, Diaz with 2 hits. Francona 2, Oster 2, and Ronnie Robinson had 1. Reynolds unable to make the play.
That may tie it.
That ought to be an infield hit, and they charge it, and they score it as such. The guy who operates a scoreboard was getting ready to run an error up there, but the official score has ruled an infield single for Ron Oster, a 3-hit night. And now the Reds have equaled their season's high of 19 hits back on that Sunday afternoon here in April when they completed that weekend series sweep with that big victory. Let's see if Bill Landrum can get in on the act. Swing and a foul. Now let's take a look at how the National League standings will look after, well, that's the way they are right now. Cincinnati with a half-game lead that will go to a game and a half over Houston. See the Giants and the Braves and the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. One out, double play, the inning is over. In the night, no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man is left on as Landrum grounds into a double play. After 8.5, it's 9-1 Cincinnati. Another look at the Astrodome here in Houston with the rapidly dissipating crowd that at its peak was 31,236. Johnny touched on Bill Landrum and his quest for Major League save number 1. He is exactly 3 outs away from doing that. One of the requirements, one of the many, of being able to get a save is to work at least 3 innings, or the final 3, and it really makes no difference what the score is if you're able to go 3 or more in a saving situation, and that's exactly what Landrum is shooting for right now, having come out in the 7th after Ron Robinson pitched 6 successful innings. And the Reds are in front 9-1.
Good confidence builder for Billy Landrum after going down to Nashville, getting back up here and changing things around. This is the big change the Reds have made by putting Robinson into the rotation and bringing up Landrum. And these 3 innings don't hurt at all for Billy. He'd like to pitch 3 scoreless innings. He's had to work at it, but nonetheless, he has done the job.
Facing Chuck Jackson, who was the first man who Landrum faced leading off the 7th. He singled to right. That's when he pops out of play.
Hey, I've been kind of impressed by Jackson tonight. He's handled the third base job well. He's normally an outfielder, but he really handled a real hard shot that Bell hit down there, turned it into a double play. That in the 8th inning, and has been very aggressive. Hit the ball hard in the 2nd inning, and then got the base hit in the 7th, 8th. Picked up the 7th.
Play again. 0-2. Cruz batting on number 9 spot after pinch hitting in the 7th inning and remaining in the game to play left field. Strike 3 call, and that's all for Chuck Jackson, and that's strikeout number 1 of the night for Bill Landrum. Are going to go from playing one hot ball club to playing another hot ball club in the Atlanta Braves. Series of 4 beginning tomorrow night. As Johnny mentioned earlier, we'll have the telecast of games tomorrow night, Friday night, and Sunday afternoon in our continuing TV coverage of the Cincinnati Reds for 87. Ball foul back.
Some of the finals tonight in the American League. Boston beat Cleveland 4-0. The Yankees beat Baltimore 4-3. Kansas City winning over Oakland in the 9th 10-5. Texas ahead of California. They're in the 1st inning with a fastball. Milwaukee beat Minnesota 8-5. Detroit over Toronto 3-2. And in the American League, a lot of 1-run games for the losers. San Francisco scored only 1. They get beat 6-1 by Atlanta. Strike call. 9-1 Montreal over New York, the same as this score right now. Pittsburgh 4-1 over St. Louis. Cubbies win over Philadelphia 5-3, and the Pods beat the Dodgers 8-7.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Landrum against Cruz. I made a friendly bet before the season started with Pete that Bo Jackson would hit 25 home runs for the Kansas City Royals. Pete said no way on his best day. And will that ball be played? Look out. A nice play by Stillwell, and I don't think Daniels made any contact. He didn't. Cal's all right, I think. Stillwell and Bell go out now to take a look at him. And a little bit slow getting up, but Daniels had a grin on his face from the time he hit the turf, so apparently he's okay.
Well, it's up to the outfielder to call the infielder off. Cal has been down for the count a couple of times tonight, having dived for a fly ball in the 4th inning, and then, oh, now he's saying I got it. But Kurt right there, and fortunately they avoided each other in pretty good fashion, not to avoid any serious injury, and he just told Kurt, I'm fine.
And it brings up Jim Pankovitz, batting for pitcher Dave Meads. Anyway, Bo Jackson hit his 14th home run of the season tonight.
Oh, you're feeling pretty good then, I guess, on your bet.
Feel real good.
After the first week, you had to feel real good. First couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Was just a friendly bet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's the only kind of bet
I can't imagine you giving up anything.
No.
Have anything to do with meal money or just Sundays?
No,
or
just, you know, I'll bet. When
maybe
I
one of the gifts you give away pregame or something like that?
No.
Maybe slide one back in your pocket there and say, here, Pete.
2 balls and 1 strike. 2 out, bottom of the 9th, nobody on. Landrum trying to nail it down once and for all, and he goes ball 3 on Jim Pankovitz. That's a possibility. Needing a strike, and he got it. Full count. Payoff pitch. Calling for Terry Francona as he moves toward right center, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Astros go down in order in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Their bid to take over possession of first place in the National League's West denied tonight, and denied in a big way as the Reds equal a season's high 19 base hits. En route to a walkaway, a 9-1 win over the Astros. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Wrap up to this series is all history now here in the Astrodome in Houston as the Reds come up with 19 big hits tonight. Nolan Ryan, of course, went to the mound trying to come up with a 3rd straight outstanding pitching performance for the Houston Astros, and a victory that would have moved them into first place in the Western Division, 9-1. The Reds answered the challenge, and Johnny, after struggling the last couple of nights against admittedly outstanding pitching, the Reds came up in a big way tonight.
Well, they showed themselves. I think they want to win this division. I think they wanted to prove to the Houston Astros that they're not going to be swept down here. Maybe it's a word to them that they need to kick it in a little bit more, and they faced a good pitcher tonight. We talked so much about Ryan, but they handled him pretty well, as they did Lopez Aurelio. And I don't know, Nolan didn't pitch that well early, and the big hit tonight, of course, I thought was the Buddy Bell double with the bases loaded.
Well, you win the prize because that's our Reds Top Job Play of the Game award. It goes to Buddy Bell with the Reds having a 1-0 lead in the 3rd. This was in the 5th. 2 out, bases loaded. Ryan still in there, and Bell with this rocket shot off the wall in left field that sent 2 runs across. It expanded a 1-run lead to a 3-0 count. The Reds, of course, went on from there to the rout. Procter & Gamble Top Job donating $100 to the United Way in Buddy Bell's name for that 5th inning 2-run double. So the Reds now win this big game here in Houston tonight. They take a 1.5 game lead into the Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, to take on the Atlanta Braves in the first of 4 tomorrow night. Once again, the final score from Houston, the Reds 9 and the Astros 1. For Johnny Bench and Joe Nuxhall, this is Marty Brennaman saying so long, everybody.